Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing the test and go scheme here in Thailand, as we discussed back in December and then again in early January, here now in early January of 2022. Test and go, which was quite a popular method of getting into Thailand with just a one-night quarantine, is currently suspended. And a question that's been coming up from a lot of people: do I think it's going to come back? Going ahead and quoting from the Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com, article is titled, Sandbox Grows as Test and Go Halted Indefinitely. Quoting directly, the Center for COVID-19 Situation Administration, CCSA, has halted applications for the Test and Go entry program for air travelers. Quoting further, CCSA spokesman Dr. Tawisip Wisano-Yutin said the suspension had been proposed by the Ministry of Tourism and Sports after a number of travelers under the scheme tested positive recently. To which I would say, well, didn't it work? If they tested positive in the program, then it did its job. So it was working. Quoting further, the Test and Go entry program is a loophole where the Omicron variant can evade screening, so we decided to further suspend the scheme. I'm going to make another video on that, kind of more detail, but going ahead with this video, for now, it does not, and this is really unfortunate. I think this is a bad move. I think this is a bad direction to head in, as I've discussed in other videos, most notably because I don't think the quote-unquote threat warrants these levels of response. And based more and more on what we're seeing from the data and a bunch of different professionals worldwide and in Thailand, I've done video from Dr. Manoon, who talked about this, who, by the way, unlike the doctor quoted here, who's a psychiatrist, Dr. Manoon is a pulmonary specialist, respiratory specialist, which would seem to be more pertinent for matters involving a respiratory disease than a psychiatrist, but, you know, what do I know? The long story short, where they've said, look, you know, this thing is probably going to spread quite rapidly, but it's far, far, far less deadly, which would seem to indicate a positive turn of events, something we'd want to see. Everybody gets it, develops immunity, and we move on with our lives, and we don't see the numbers associated with this. Not getting into that too deeply any further, long story short, for purposes of this video, looks like Test and Go is not going to be back anytime in the relatively near future. That said, as we've seen over the past 21 months, you know, this government loves these folks, the folks that are sort of tasked with this, you know, they're nothing if not in love with new names for programs that are largely the same thing from the past. So maybe we'll see some new thing, you know, test and run or something in a month and a half. I don't know. But for now, yeah, unfortunately, it's not possible to enter Thailand the way that it was possible to do prior to 21st of December. As we've noted in other videos, they still sort of grandfathered in those who had gotten their Thailand pass under the Test and Go scheme, and we're still seeing, lack of a better term, kind of a few stragglers coming in who were sort of locked in under that protocol. But moving forward, it does not appear, at least for the forthcoming few weeks, that we're going to see this kind of protocol, this kind of Test and Go protocol being undertaken.